Ahmed Baba, thanks for joining us. Well, I
I'm
mean,
a
we're here together. Not thanks for joining us. It's both of our show. So, Ahmed, DC. Wow. I mean, the thing is he cooked? Is this going to cook MAGA?
He might be cooked. He might be cooked.
Really?
I mean, it's whether or not it leads to anything. I mean, he's probably going to be forced to veto this if it passes. It's going to have to pass the House and might pass the Senate potentially. So he might be forced to veto it. And either way, the damage is done. Like, we're going to find out more damning stuff. But the stuff in these emails, man, like I was just saying right before, like, if this is what's in the emails, what's in the files, and why is he so desperately trying to prevent that from being released? Is a key question.
I hate it when people say, I mean, look, we don't know if he did anything wrong, but I kind of hate it when they're like, we don't know if he did anything wrong. Well, something happened. So either he did something wrong, like personally himself, or he is covering up for someone else or other people, or he's
Mm-hmm.
covering up for himself, or all of the above. I mean, what are we left with but our own devices to try to figure out what's going on with this?
I mean,
Something is going on.
logic leads to that. I mean, I have the 2011 email right in front of me where Epstein tells Ghislaine Maxwell that Trump is the dog that hasn't barked, right? And that hasn't barked yet. He must know something. And saying that Trump spent hours at his house with one of the victims. And and again, just quickly on that, that proves that Maxwell lied to Todd Blanche, to Deputy AG Todd Blanche, because she told him that she'd never seen Trump in an inappropriate setting, and she specifically said she never saw Trump in Epstein's house. That's a lie, now proven by these emails.
Well, what does it say that Trump was? Didn't it say like Trump was at an event or something at his house, and one of the emails, and that he ran into a door and his nose print was on the door or something because he was so fixated on the girls who were in the pool, and he wanted to ask the houseman about that. Now,
Yeah.
was this Palm Beach or was it Epstein Island? I don't know.
I think it was Epstein saying that one of the house people that works at Epstein's house, I think, that Trump was walking by seeing probably young girls, underage girls, likely, potentially, in
Yeah,
the
but
pool.
I wonder if it was the house in Palm Beach or the
Yeah,
house.
let me check that.
But
We
I
can
don't
we
know.
can see
I
the
don't even know
email.
if that's clear. I don't know if that's even clear in the emails, but it was saying that Donald Trump's nose print was ever. Can you get the house man to take a look at that or something?
Yeah, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna check which house that is. But I mean, you don't want to be having any of this out there where you have a sexual predator saying that, okay, here I have the email. Have them ask the house man. Okay, let's see. I think this is Epstein's house.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, he
Yeah.
has two. He had a mansion in Palm Beach, and then he had a mansion on Epstein Island, which was
Yeah,
which was
well, the email doesn't indicate which one,
doesn't
but
indicate.
but either way, like, Trump was at Epstein's house. We know, according to this email, he spent hours with one of the victims. We know he apparently was at a pool party gawking at girls, right? And that's just the half of it. That's just the beginning of where this goes. And then these other emails that say Trump absolutely knew about the girls, like that right there. The fact that you're saying that Trump was at Epstein's house, spending hours with one of the victims, and that he, of course, knew about the girls. That undermines so much of what Trump said. Trump has claimed for years that he never knew anything about Epstein's activities, and here we have it right here. Epstein clearly indicating that Trump knew about potentially his abuse.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Someone says that they can barely hear me. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. It's just one, just double checking. So Dawn Gibb, I don't know. I think everybody else, no one else has said that they can barely hear me, but let me know. Also, make sure you hit the hearts, the likes, the thumbs up. It affects the algorithm. More people become aware of our conversation and our channels. And we need you to follow Ahmed Baba and Don Lemon on all platforms, including YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
Substack, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or whatever platforms that we're on. So make sure you hit those hearts. Okay, someone said that they can barely hear me.
Okay, so some people, I'm not hearing that, but maybe it's the AirPods potentially.
Okay, well, I'm gonna take these off. And the reason I don't like to take them off is because for some reason this Substack thing gives me a lisp unless I'm speaking in.
You sound crisp now. Let's see. People in the comments, let us know. Is Don back? Can you hear him with what he just said after he
Turn the
took the
volume
AirPods
up,
off?
not turn the TV off.
Yep. Oh, don't turn it off this week. You're gonna want to watch this week.
So
That's a
hopefully
good
it's
shirt.
better now. So, anyways,
That's a dope. That's some. Still can barely hear. Not really sure what's going on.
yeah,
Um,
I don't know.
better. No, people are saying better, or we're getting mixed. But either
Look,
way.
here's what I'm gonna do. Anyways, so when you saw these, what did you make of them?
Well, I see that Trump's been lying for years, right? We see one of the other ones mentions that um, basically we have, victim name, Mar-a-Lago, likely Virginia Giuffre. And then he said, of course, he knew about the girls. This shows what we were talking about before. We talked about that potentially we had Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell siphoning women, stealing women, trafficking women from Mar-a-Lago, right? Because remember, Trump said that basically he cut ties with Epstein because he was stealing girls, right? Plural girls. And it seems there might have been more, is what I'm getting from these emails. So it seems not only was Epstein taking these people, taking these young girls from Mar-a-Lago, but Trump was aware of it and potentially aware of the abuse that was happening to them afterwards. That alone is incredibly damaging. Regardless of whether or not we find out that Trump is engaged in the activity himself, it apparently he knew. And girls from his club, young girls, underage girls that were being taken from his club, that he knew about that and potentially knew about the abuse. That is what I think we could definitively say from these emails. And that alone, I think, that alone should cook him.
Well, I think
But
you can say from these emails also is that Donald Trump had much more of a connection and interactions with Jeffrey Epstein and others that he is letting on,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
That because he has denied, like, I don't know anything. I don't know anything about this. I have no idea what you're talking about. And so he has lied about all of that. It appears if these, and the thing is that why wouldn't these emails be true? True. Not that I think that Jeffrey Epstein is any sort of, great witness, but why would, in 2011 and 2015,
Mm-hmm.
would he be writing that there was, that they knew that, Donald Trump had involvement with these people and that, the only dog that hasn't barked is Donald Trump. And so far, he's gotten away with it and then try to strategize how he can get some sort of leverage over Donald Trump. So, I mean, it's not like unless Jeffrey Epstein was playing 14-dimensional chess and looking into the future and said, okay, so I'm going to die in prison and then Donald Trump is going to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, you're right. Because that's one of the key things is why lie, especially in 2011, when at that time Donald was just running around doing birtherism talk. He's not like, he's not on the cusp of anything great. Why would he be emailing with Maxwell? I mean, this time there's lawsuits going on, but there's not the major investigation that's going to lead to Epstein being taken down yet. And it's 2011, and we have Maxwell responding, I've been thinking about that, affirming that Trump's the dog that hasn't barked. Why would they both in that email exchange lie? There's no assumption that that email would be released by them. So that's key. And then also 2015, another aspect of this I just find disgusting. Michael Wolff. What do you think about Michael Wolff coordinating with Epstein?
Well, I am of two minds about this. Michael Wolff is not a journalist. Michael Wolff is a writer, and he writes scandalous, tomes about people, unauthorized biographies, some authorized biographies, and whatever. And that's his stock and trade. So, look, I think if he knew these things, and if he had emails and all of those things, then that is what it is, and whatever comes of that should come of it. But I don't look to Michael Wolff, as some standard bearer for journalism. And I think that,
Yeah,
as all writers, as all people who are in that profession, it's transactional. So he wants to get information from Jeffrey Epstein. He
I
wants to
see.
stay on his good side. So he will, just sort of um, juice Epstein up a bit. And he wants information from Trump, so he'll juice him up a bit. But, do I think that as a journalist, would that be ethical? No, you would be fired from your job if you do
Of
that. As a matter of
course.
fact, we know someone who was fired for their job for giving advice to, their brother.
Yeah.
So, does it make him look good? I
No.
don't think so.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And in that same vein of these Michael Wolff emails, I mean, essentially, that's one of the emails to Michael Wolff is one of the most damaging ones, in which he says, "Of course, he knew about the girls," you know,
Mm.
and that's one of the things. You have these things coupled together. You have Epstein saying that Trump knew about the girls, and then you have Trump basically saying not potentially giving that information to the FBI. So, like, if you have the information saying that Trump knew about the girls, and then you also have the email stating that he was a dog that didn't bark, there you're saying that Trump withheld information about potential criminal activity.
Yeah, but the big question is, okay, maybe yeah, well, that's true. I didn't even think about that, Ahmed, that he did it. If these turned out to be true, then what did he do? Right? Was he withholding information? But also, the weird thing is that why didn't Todd Blanche ask these questions? Because clearly he had access to these emails when he interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell in prison. And then after the interview, ended up moving her to this minimum security sort of Club Med kind of lockup. So why didn't Todd Blanche doing it? Like, come on, guys, what the fuck is
Yeah,
going on here?
no, they
It's
were.
so obvious. Why do we keep pretending like, oh, well, maybe I don't know if he didn't. Like, come on.
It's a cover up. It's a full blown
Yes,
cover up. It's a full
it's a
blown cover
total
up.
cover up.
And Todd Blanche went in there seeking to basically exonerate Trump through that email. And we now know that Maxwell lied to his face, saying Trump's never been in Epstein's house when these emails show that he has. And then she gets sent to this prison where she's getting to pet puppies and getting like special meals and all this shit. And it's just not okay. And I actually have an update on the Todd Blanche thing. Todd
Sure.
Blanche, Todd Blanche actually indicated. So George Santos of all people
Oh God.
basically posted basically what you're saying. Basically, like these emails show that Todd Blanche's questioning was either completely incompetent or intentionally trying to basically exonerate Trump. And Todd Blanche responded and said that when he interviewed Maxwell, he said law enforcement didn't have these emails. That's what Todd Blanche is trying to claim. He's trying to claim that these emails came from the Epstein estate and that the DOJ did not have these emails. So he's saying these emails, which I don't know if I buy that.
Isn't this all part of it? I mean, it came from the estate and he didn't have these emails? What is
You're telling me that the House was the first body to subpoena these
in the
emails
state? Yes,
from
that's
the
what I'm saying.
estate?
The estate? No,
It
come
doesn't click with
on.
me. It doesn't
Oh,
click with me.
come on.
It's
And
BS.
Todd Blanche is an attorney. Todd Blanche has represented Donald Trump. Don't you think that Todd Blanche would be like, we need to get the information from the estate because we don't want to
Before
be exposed.
you would think you would subpoena this information to get the information in order to actually get testimony from Maxwell. If you want to actually cross-examine her, you would need this information. Regardless whether he's lying about it or not, which I think he most likely is that you went in there with an agenda. You didn't go in there seeking information. You went in there just trying. You didn't care if you had information that contradicted what she said. You wanted her to give you information that exonerated Trump. You can send her off to the prison, and then you could tell the public, oh, Maxwell said Trump had nothing to do with it. That's what he tried to do.
I think Diana in the comments really has. But by the way, before I read her comment, come on,
I'm not buying it.
they come on.
Yeah. No, it's Via. It's his personal attorney, it's his fixer.
Can you imagine if you were like involved in a lawsuit or something, and the attorneys would be like, "I did not have access to that information, or I didn't know."
Or I
Oh,
didn't think to
yeah.
subpoena 20,000 emails from the estate. Come on, man.
Anyway, Diana says if Blanche is telling the truth, all right,
Mm-hmm.
why isn't he questioning Ghislaine Maxwell again, and why is she still at Club Fed?
You would think she'd be removed today. You would think their reaction, if they were actually honest brokers here, would have been horror, right? If they were like, oh, wow, these emails totally just debunked her testimony. We need to get her back immediately, right? That's what an honest law enforcement would do. Instead, they're just calling it a hoax and and she's still in Club Fed petting puppies, as far as I know right now.
Yeah, and also according to reports, planning and plotting her commutation. And they said that the guards are, this is according to the reporting, are passing information back and forth between her and the administration and representatives to try to get her commuted. I mean,
It's unbelievable. They're sitting there colluding with this convicted pedophile, sexual abuser. It's unbelievable. This again. I know we're all pushing for what's in the Epstein files, but this alone is damning enough. This alone, in any other reality, in any other administration, would have destroyed the administration.
well,
This alone.
it would have destroyed. I said this morning on my YouTube show, like how many Donald Trump has defied gravity, defied the political odds in surviving scandals as an elected official. I also got from someone who used to work in the administration who said to me yesterday, this one email alone should disqualify him from being president, and that is
Mhm.
the one where he has sat with her at the house for hours for a long time, and no one knew what happened. Now,
Yeah,
why is he still in office? Why isn't this
and
getting him out of office?
that's why House Democrats released those two particular emails, because I think it tells the whole story, right? You have Epstein saying Trump spent hours with one of the victims at his house. Not only does that debunk Maxwell's testimony, it confirms that Trump was at Epstein's house, number one, and then also with one of the victims. And then over here, you have Epstein saying Trump knew about the girls. And then that tied together is that he basically was in the environment where this abuse was happening. He knew about the systemic abuse, potentially, is what Epstein is alluding to. He's the dog that didn't bark, indicating he has information that he's yet to disclose. And then also another key point of the Michael Wolff part, he's colluding with Michael Wolff about potentially how to blackmail Trump, is what that one thread says, because Michael Wolff's telling Epstein, oh, you could potentially use this as leverage. So what you get there is that Epstein believes he has information about Trump that could tank him. And then you have all these emails indicating that Trump had plenty of information about what Epstein was doing, and we do not yet know whether or not he disclosed that to the FBI in real time. That alone is impeachable.
Yeah.
At least impeachable, like indictable.
Sherry M, thank you very much. She said I can't miss two brothers talking.
There we go.
Okay, so here's the thing. I am for them to have this stance, the administration and Caroline Levitt and all this, to have this stance on this being a hoax, or that it's a Democrat hoax, or that it's being exploited by the Democrats. Do you remember how they exploited Hunter Biden in the laptop? Like, and Hunter Biden was a single man. Hunter Biden was, banging chicks and whatever. Okay. He was doing some other stuff that he shouldn't have been. I mean, but it was just him.
Yeah, he did a little cocaine. Okay.
It was against himself, right? If there was any damage to anyone, it was to Hunter Biden. It wasn't to underage victims potentially. Do you know what I'm saying? There were
Yeah.
women who were with him, but by all accounts, they appeared to be willing participants. I don't look. I'm just saying, as long as there's two consenting adults, or however many consenting adults, that's their business. But my point is, look how they exploited that Hunter Biden situation for everything that it was worth, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then, so let's just say, I'll give it to them. I don't believe that they are, but let's say Democrats are exploiting this. Isn't what's good for the goose good for the gander?
Yeah, I think Democrats are doing what the victims also want, right? So like
And
I think
by the way, Hunter Biden wasn't even an elected official. But sorry,
yeah.
go on.
Yeah, no, Hunter Biden was not an elected official. He was just, a son. And also he was not participating or in close proximity to a sex trafficking ring with 1,000 victims, right? Like it's just totally incomparable. And again, like I've told you, I got Fox News up on my TV and my multi-view all the time. They have not been covering this heavily at all, if not ignoring it for entire hours. And there's a reason why, because it is incredibly damning. Could you imagine if even one of these emails contained something about Democrats? Like, for example, one of the emails about Bill Clinton says that Bill Clinton was never on the island. That's one of the emails that we got about a Democrat. But like, it's just unfathomable to me that this is not like just full stop having a mass exodus. Like, we're going to see a lot of Republicans vote against or vote for releasing this in the House, where I think they're expecting maybe 100 of them. I saw Politico
Yeah.
report.
Yeah.
But again, Trump's going to try to veto this. And if I was Republicans and I'm thinking about 2026, 2028, I send that back to that man with a veto-proof majority, so we
Yeah.
force the release of those files.
Well, Thomas Massey, who is the Republican who's sort of leading the charge to have this release, is saying, something very similar. He said, "How are you going to say in either 2026 or 2028 to constituents, and when people ask you, if you stand up on a debate stage or in front of a reporter, or if people who are voting for you ask, when they say, 'Why were you voting to protect a pedophile?'" Which, there, and I'm not saying Donald Trump, but I'm saying Jeffrey Epstein, because you're
Mm-hmm.
protecting him if you don't want these released, or a potential one, whoever may be in those files. How can you answer that question? And by the way, on the Fox News thing, you know how they're reporting this? They're reporting it as um, Caroline Levitt says this is a Democratic hoax and blah, 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 blah. But they're not showing one email in the reports. It's only Donald Trump tweets
Worse.
and
Mm-hmm.
Caroline Levitt sound bites.
And it's funny because the way that Republicans tried to spin it was saying, oh, Democrats selectively leaked those 3 emails. So then they were the ones that released all 20,000. And then the other emails made it worse. So it's like there's no spinning it. There's no spinning it. They're going to try, but you're right. Republicans are going to have to answer this. How can they go on a debate stage and sit there and defend this indefensible position? That's why I think a lot of people are going to be voting for the discharge petition already passed. The House vote is going to pass. All eyes on the Senate. Who in this, are you going to mark yourself as covering up for Donald Trump? Donald Trump in the Situation Room, panicking, trying to hold meetings to prevent this release. It is just, again, like if this was exonerating material, why not release it?
Do
Why
you think
not
that,
release it?
right on? Do you think this one is going to just roll off his back like the other ones?
I don't think
Not
so.
roll off his back, but just he's going to get out of it. I mean, he
I'll
got
tell
out
you,
of grab him by the pussy.
I'll tell you of all the things that happen in the Trump admin so far, this is the thing where I have the most people who don't pay attention to politics texting me about it. I have
Yeah.
people who just don't pay attention at all. They're like, hey, what's going on with the, you think this is going to be the thing that takes him down? Everyone is watching this. And I think he might get out of this unscathed as in not impeached or indicted but I think, again, we're leaving a week where they were so politically cooked after last week, revealing all the weaknesses of Trump and this compounding that. I think, he might remain in office, but their political movement, as Nick Fuentes posted yesterday, MAGA is dead. And I think MAGA is on its way to unraveling, as we've been talking about here. And this is another nail in the MAGA coffin, man.
You think it's going to take him down?
It depends on what we define take him down as.
I said from the beginning, when the Epstein things were coming out, that it was starting to crack. This was the beginning of the end. I said there was going to be a lot of distractions, a lot of things he's going to throw in the air, like Steve Bannon said. He's going to throw a lot of things against the wall. It's going to be a fire hose of bullshit every single day. But Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. And remember when I said every question should be answered about why aren't you releasing the Epstein files whenever they
Mm-hmm.
ask any Democrat? Because I believe this is a thing. I believe that it is the thing. If Democrats can hold to it, and this is a thing.
Yeah, no,
It's the beginning of the end.
I totally agree. I think this is the thing. I mean, you already have an affordability crisis, and then on top of this, you're covering up for yourself and potential pedophiles. Like, that's it. That's it. He built his movement on this. That's the thing. Like, this was something they sold. QAnon, the Republican Party, the right, they have been building a pedophile ring conspiracy theory since Pizzagate in 2016, right? They have been building their entire philosophy on the idea that there's this amorphous pedophile ring that needs to be taken down. Well, here it is. And here's your guy, Donald, covering up and trying to protect these people. That's a massive crack in MAGA. And I think, I think you're right, man. I think this is the beginning of the end. And I already thought 2026 they were cooked, but they might be flambéed after this, they cooked. They burnt.
We'll see. We'll see if Fuentes is right. Nick Fuentes saying MAGA is dead. We'll see. It's always the cover up. Always the cover up. Ahmed, thank you, sir. I'll see you next week.
Good to
Two
see you.
brothers talking.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
See you
Good to see
later.
you, Don.
Thank you. You too.